Okay, so Saturn in the ninth house, synastry. Saturn in the ninth house, a lot of times do very well when they find each other later in life. Like if this is going to be a second marriage or something like that, I feel like both people will feel more ready for this particular synastry aspect. If you're going to be younger, there may be some distance there. Like there could be distance between you and this and the other person when you're older as well. And when I say older, I don't mean that you could be in your 30s, your mid 30s, or could have had a marriage or something like that already, or some sort of significant experience in your life that led you to the person. There could be distance there when you're younger and when you're older, but I feel like when you're more mature, when you're more experienced, the distance doesn't bother you as much. When we're younger, we're trying to find out ourselves, we're trying to find who we are, and we usually do that by way of our social interactions and adaptations, and experiences, relationships with other people, and that's including a significant other. That's how we usually do that. And when we're with our partner, we want it to be close, intimate. We spend all of our time together, blase, blase. Now, I'm not saying that you don't spend a lot of time with your partner with this synastry aspect, but just hear me out. As we have experiences, after we go through like our first marriage or something like that, or just through trials and tribulations in life, we understand and value our freedom, or our space, should I say. We value it a lot more. And because of that, we don't feel the need to even get in each other's way, and it actually makes the alliance in a relationship stronger. But there could be a distance there, but that could be another limitation, because there's some sort of distance, there's some sort of cultural distance, there's some sort of age difference or something like that, to where these two are feeling a little bit limited. Or they come together, and because of life experiences that they have not had, it can drive them to apart. It could be like this longing for each other, this understanding and identifying like, man, this is something serious, like this is something special I have between this person. But just right now, the timing is just off. But if you could ever come back to each other and find each other after you work through said experience, or after you've it's just experienced life a little bit more, there could be a very progressive bond in this relationship. This is a very progressive relationship. It could be, because it's like you work through certain things, certain understandings. When we're younger, I feel like our parents or people, like I said, is directly that is directly in like an influence that plays a large influence in our life, will tell us. I feel like we stick to social norms and stuff more. You know what I mean? I feel like we stick to, because we need guidance. We lack the understanding. And if your friends or your family, and it depends the culture. It depends on the culture, y'all, because y'all know, like, while in today's world and society, yes, this is to a lesser extent, but still it happens, It depends on the cultural norms and stuff like that. Because when you're having, let's say you're having like a parent or a set of friends or whatever, that's like, hey, we don't marry outside of our culture, or you shouldn't be into this person with this particular religious belief, and you try to stick to that. A lot of people, believe it or not, will let the love of their lives go, or somebody that they're experiencing this extreme, intense, I wouldn't even say intense, but this bond with, that takes them beyond that takes them beyond a belief system or a race or a culture. You get what I'm saying? People will put that on a hold knowing that it's something that they want to experience or they need to experience or they have with this person, because to endure social norms or uphold it. And it's interesting because I feel like that's a large amount of the limitations that could come here, or show up here, because some people will never they will never allow themselves to completely break free. They will miserably or just live their life according to that belief system or that norm or the experience that they're trapped into having, before they even break loose. And that's where one of the biggest limitations lies here. This could be a relationship to another relationship to where there's a older partner with a younger partner, like, they could be extremely older than each other. One could be extremely older than the other. There could be, this is where, like, maybe as a female or a woman or whatever, you could find yourself involved with a younger man. You see, that will be something that's untraditional on a social level, because a lot of times, we look at relationships as, if somebody's going to be older, it's going to be the man. And don't get me wrong, this is what could bring you guys together too, because it could be a situation to where one person is, because in this relationship, you must understand that somebody is playing like the mentor, the therapist, the parent role. That could definitely happen here. And it can happen in the 10th house too, but it definitely can happen here as well. Especially the mentor or therapist role. Somebody could play that. And this is how they could not have an issue with their relationship being this way, because this is what it takes on. But at the same time, it just depends, because one may feel like the other person won't just allow them to be in a relationship. It's like, well, are you trying to just let us experience this, or are you trying to control like what I do? Like, one person may feel like they're not really ever good enough for the other one. It's like, well, you're trying to make me into something that I'm not yet, which is true but not true, because the older person could be trying to protect or guide the younger person to not have, certain experiences that they have to experience in life, protect them for what they went through. But they don't get that the younger person may not be there yet. Because they got to live their own life, So these two could, this could be a learning, to where you're teaching each other, you're learning about different aspects of life, where there's cultural norms. Like, somebody is being taught here. I feel like both individuals are being taught. You can meet through long distance travel, and that could be the limitation. Like I said, religious, cultural differences, that could be the limitations, but it could be the same thing that holds you together, because let's say there's a cultural difference, but you experience a certain feeling, like what it means to have to be a part of something, but not totally resonate with it. Because you guys could be talking, it could be like, what? In my religion and like, my family, in my family, it could be from an Indian culture or something. And it'd be like, what? My mom was an alcoholic, or my dad was really strict on me. And you could be talking to somebody, or you could be in this relationship, having this connection with somebody that's from some sort of African culture or something. And they're like, what? Like, where you believe differently, but then at the same time, that's those same differences, you realize, like, dang, we're not so different after all. Because you're like, dang, what? My mother, experienced something similar, and I had to, like, even though we believe differently and we was growing up differently, we still had some sort of experience. And like it's like you kind of bond over that experience. Okay? So there was a limitation there. But the connection is because like, okay, well, we're more similar than what we think. You know? Yeah. There's lots more. Like when I start getting to the ninth house over, especially the eighth house, the ninth house over, this is more, these relationships are more about the self preparation, you know, and then being able to put your, then, you know, I see it as more of like us as our advanced selves and where we've experienced lots of things. And then we have to come back to ourselves to then, you know, revise the way that we see ourselves in the world and the way that we see ourselves go, which is ultimately affects the way that we relate to others as well. So it's so many to these particular houses and stuff like that. It's just so many things that I could say, and especially with Saturn here, but I won't because it's already been 11 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay, 34, 35, 36. Let me go. So this is Saturn 11th house, the Saturn in the ninth house industry. I'm gonna fly to light. Peace.